podcast. I am broadcasting live from Colorado from the TCA Refrigerated Conference, and I am so amazingly excited today to introduce you to my guest, Nick Klingensmith, and he is the most incredible human that you will want to know and meet. And if you don't know him, you certainly can connect with him after today's episode. If you don't know me, my name is Dr. Gina Anderson, and I am the host, if you haven't figured that out, of the I Love Learning podcast. And I am the CEO and co-founder of Luma Brighter Learning, and we help the supply chain save lives through our award-winning connected learning platform. If you want to learn more about my company, Luma Brighter Learning, go to lumabrighterlearning.com. And I would love if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, because you get to meet so many incredible people. And if you are tuning in from somewhere amazing around the world, tell us where you're tuning in from in the comments. So I want to go ahead, and I'm going to bring Nick on, but I want to tell you that he has overcome so many hurdles, and he is thriving, you all. He is a 4-time cancer survivor, and he's a recovering alcoholic, but he just celebrated, and he's going to tell us how many years, because I don't know if he told me that, how many years he celebrated sobriety from being an alcoholic. And he's an inspiring speaker. He's a champion. Look at all those trophies behind him. He's a Spartan champion, and he has a champion mindset. So Nick, thank you for joining me today. Share with everyone what you're passionate about, and also remind me how many years you've been sober. In your sobriety.
So
yes.
It has now been 11 years and 3 days.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And that is absolutely a big part of my story. What am I passionate about now? I'm passionate about helping others through my struggle and through things we'll talk about. I found a purpose and a meaning to my suffering, and it's to overcome every obstacle so that I can help others and overcome it too.
It's so important. It's one of those things that, like, we don't talk about our struggles. We don't share what we're going through a lot of times, right? And it's like, how was it for you you have this passion for helping people overcome, but what was it? Did you learn something? Was it something that sparked inside of you to know that you needed to make a change?
Every one of the changes that I've gone through and continue to go through is incremental. And I can't say that I ever sat down and laid out a plan and said, here's how I'm going to evolve for the next 10 years. There came a point in my life where the pain of change was a lot less than the pain of staying the same. And that was when I need to address my drinking. I knew I was an active alcoholic, and I knew that alcohol had taken over my life. What I didn't know at the time, though, was just the consequences of my actions. I didn't know the people I was hurting. I didn't know how selfish I was being. I didn't know how destructive in my behavior was. I really didn't know the immense power that alcohol had over me until I had a very public drunk where I was thrown out from a work conference at the hotel I was supposed to be speaking at the next day.
Wow.
Nowhere for me to hide. So that moment, and I talked about this the other day, obviously, was the first time I ever said, I don't want to live this way anymore.
Wow.
Even though I knew all my behavior was bad, I was still convinced that I was enjoying the life I was living. There was a reason I kept trying so hard to live this way. And so I said, God, I don't want to live this way anymore. And I flew home and I started a program of sobriety, and it's been 11 years and 3 days. And that was the first turning point. Nothing else could change until that did.
Yeah. It's like you had to make that commitment to move yourself forward. It's powerful.
Addiction is an illness, and we're sick. And when we're active in our addiction, I was sick. You can't make positive changes when you're in that same mindset. It's just a manipulation. It's a lie. It's short term. We have to, no matter who you are, if there's a transformation that's going to happen, there has to be an uncomfortable conversation with yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think sometimes it takes something like that moment that helped you want to change, right? So what inspires you to keep on that journey to be happy and want to continue to grow and learn?
I mean, what you just said right there, to be happy. I
Mm,
hadn't been happy. My goal immediately changed in life from feeling like I had to win at everything
mm,
to suddenly just kind of wanting some serenity and peace of mind, wanting that mental comfort of feeling like I belong, of not feeling like I'm on the outside. And that's really what I strive for in those first couple of years. And that was the beginning of my spiritual journey. And that's where ultimately the other changes in my life began to come. If it
mm.
weren't for that first change, I would have never been ready for the next one. And that's what happened
Mm.
2 years later when my boss walks in my office and says, "Hey, I want to do a Spartan race and you're going to do it with me." I had no interest in doing so, but that was the next change that had to happen. And I would have never been in that spot if I was still in my addiction.
Yeah. Spartan races, they're hard, aren't they?
I always like to say that a Spartan race is as hard as you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, some races are harder than others. The one I just did in Utah was going to be hard no matter who you were or what kind of effort you put in, because it was a 4,100-foot, 14-mile mountain race.
Mm.
So in 90-degree weather on the face of the mountain. So that one was going to be hard for anybody. But there are some courses that are going to be more, I guess, inclusive, some shorter, some flatter, some simpler ones.
Mm-hmm.
And the rules really allow for, I mean, there's adaptive athletes out there. So I really say this because I don't ever want anyone to think that I do what you can't. And
Yeah.
so it can be a very inclusive sport. That said, I've done the years of sort of surviving through the race, and now I'm in the mode where I am trying to get better at it. And so for me, I'm actually intentionally trying to make the race harder by trying to do it faster.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done a few Spartans, and I'll be honest, it's like for me, it's about the community, right? And you think about like overcoming the hurdle of addiction. It's hard to do it alone, isn't it?
I mean, I absolutely. And I would say anything is hard to do alone. And, that's another thing that also I never realized how isolated I had become in
Mm.
my, when I was drinking. And so, and these days, I think it's even increasingly easier to become isolated and to justify isolation and not realize that we're doing it. But whether it become recovery or, I think the fitness community is the greatest group of human beings I've ever met.
Mm.
I mean, just the
Mm.
humanity I see out on the race course, people helping other people. It's an environment where whatever you do, whatever you believe in outside of that world does not matter. It's just people helping people.
Mm. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, like, I find you can find those communities, you just have to get out and look for them, right? I think a lot of times when you're in those situations where you're down and out and you have hurdles, it's easier to stay and not get out. It's harder to try to force yourself to get out and do those connections. And so exercise is a good thing, don't you think? I mean, when you do that, it can change you.
Absolutely, because it also helps to, I think as we become adults, we get way too concerned about what other people think, especially
Mm-hmm.
strangers. And, so we've got our guard up and maybe think that we shouldn't do something, or we look stupid, or we don't know how to do it right. And what you ultimately find is that by finding your tribe, it's a support mechanism. It's not judging. It's helpful. But as some of us, Michael Lombard's been bringing this up on Iron Minds a lot lately, where iron
Mm-hmm.
sharpens iron means it's not always a comfortable conversation. And sometimes that community does need to challenge you and to push you. And sometimes that is uncomfortable, but no change comes without discomfort. And I think a community strengthens the community by doing so.
Yeah, absolutely. What does winning mean to you? So is winning all those medals behind you, you think? Like, what is winning?
It changes all the time. It really does. I'll tell you what, my goal on Saturday was do not exasperate my injury. That's it. I honestly
Oh,
didn't care anything about what place I came in. I mean, I had goals. I always have goals, but my number one goal was don't get hurt. I'm training for an Ironman in 2 months.
whoa.
With Alex Bates and Michael Lombard in Serbia, and that's my goal. So I don't want to. I've had injuries. I've been like just fighting all year. So my number one goal amongst anything else was not to get hurt. So now Saturday I gave it hell, but Sunday
Mhm.
was actually there were 2 more races, and I went out and basically had a fun run because I've already accomplished something. Now there is going to be a Spartan race in November, a couple hours away from me in Orlando. That one, winning for me is going to be what place I come into. I want to set a record. I want to get in the top 10. I haven't done that yet. So, it's all personal. I'm not a threat to anyone's podium. And even if I do it one day, it's whatever, all the gods were on my side, but it's always about me versus me. And it's always going to change depending on which race I'm in.
Absolutely. I find it to be a personal challenge in do hard things, right? Doing hard things really pushes us. It challenges us. It helps us get out of those slumps that we might have. So, wow, I didn't know you were doing an Ironman. That's incredible. When is that? I want to cheer for you.
September. It's on a Sunday in September.
You got to go look
like
that up.
66 days from now. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, there'll be a promo video coming out shortly.
I'm looking at my calendar.
With Alex and Michael and myself. We've been at this for a little while. And the story behind it is actually about community. So I'm going to actually talk about this for a second.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I know you're familiar with Michael Lombard. And so he's obviously heavy into fitness and shares his story and his journey. And I do the same thing. And so Alex Bates happened to kind of see our stories of transformation and started getting motivated and inspired to take control on his own health journey. And so after doing so, he didn't ask for permission. He just started. After doing so, he then reached out to Michael and myself and said, hey, you know what? I want to do an Ironman and I want you guys to do it with me. And so there's a 70.3 in Belgrade in September. And, there's still some logistics to work out as far as travel costs, etc. But I've been training for it. Lombard's been crushing it. Alex has been training for it. And that's the whole idea, is a lot of what we're doing is just trying to reverse this negative health trend in the industry. And now other people have seen Alex on his journey and have started doing the same thing and running and signing up for races and just taking control of themselves.
Yeah. So do you know Keith Johnson?
The name is not ringing a bell.
Okay, so he was in the industry, and he and I and his wife and Scott and maybe Justin, he was on my podcast last week. We're gonna go do a mini ultra if you all want to join us in November in North Carolina, and we're gonna run a mini ultra is like just over a marathon. So if you guys all want to come, we can have a trucking industry running event together, and I'll send you the dates. It's in November. It's actually, I changed my mind. It's not November. It's February 14th. It's Valentine's Day, 2026.
Well, certainly interested.
Yeah, so join us. If anyone listening wants to, you can walk. I mean, there's no judgment. All paces, all people. We know there's no judgment. It's a community. We support each other, and we do hard things, right? We do hard things. So I can appreciate that. So I do have a question from my guest last week. They wanted me to ask you, how do you overcome failure when you put so much time and energy into something if it doesn't work out? Like, what if we sign up for this Ultra Mini and we can't finish it?
I know this sounds overly simplistic, but if failure was, if success was guaranteed, why would you fly to North Carolina to do the race? If failure isn't part of the equation, there's no point in doing it in the first place. Pursue failure, chase failure. Failure should be the goal most of the time. You know why I like ultras? Because they're hard. I sign up for really hard things because I want to push myself to failure. There's a race in Florida for a Spartan race, where last year, let me give you a comparison. In 2021, there was 1.7 miles of knee to chest swamp. I was swamp, dead, gator infested, farmland, middle of nowhere, Florida, land that time forgot, swamp. Yes.
I love that your dog's joining us. It's totally good. We like that. We love pets.
Sorry. That's the reactive one.
It's okay.
I apologize.
Poodle pie.
You go out in the swamp. It's miserable. All right. Now, usually they do some sort of a water crossing for like 200 to 400.
It's all right. It's okay.
Right. For like 200 to 400 yards. For 200 to 400 yards or something like that. And then you Then they would send you back on land. However, you're going out there and you see that there is no land, and you're getting tired, you're getting sort of panicky. And then here's the moment of, okay, I can't.
Oh, the dog is gonna get out. We like dogs. We like dogs on our podcast.
I can't hear you. It's echoing like crazy over here. Anyway, so you're out in the 200 to 400 yards in, and then here's the moment that breaks you. You think you're going to get out of the swamp, and then you see far down the other side. Okay. And that's when you can see the people that are coming back the other way. And you realize you're going to be in the swamp for a while. And I'm telling you, in that moment right now, I wanted to quit the race. If I could have, I would have. Mm-hmm. That's the moment I paid for. That moment where you're about to fail and you keep going forward. Without that risk of failure, there's no growth. So how do you do it? Either set a bigger goal, or just it's a check mark and you keep moving forward.
That's beautiful. I love that. I don't think I'd make it because I'd be too worried about the swamp monsters and the alligators or crocodile. Well, it's probably in the U.S., so alligators. But
yeah, but there was like 1,500 people who went before me.
Oh, that's
Remember, you don't
true.
have to outrun the gator. You just get outrun the guy next to you.
Right. Okay, I get that.
I'll tell you
that makes
part
sense.
Of that is also, I'm deathly afraid of snakes and heights, and yet I spend my weekends crawling around swamps and climbing up mountains. I mean, part of that is that chasing failure. Failure needs to be experienced. I give another example of a Spartan obstacle called the Z-Wall. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that one, but it's a zigzag wall. You go horizontally across using blocks, can't touch the top, can't touch the bottom. A lot of newer racers will sometimes support each other on that by like holding up each other, putting pressure on the back or something like that. In the beginning, I was one of them, and I regret it. Not that I judge other racers, but because every time I did that, what I did was fail to learn how to do the obstacle. And by the way, according to the rules, that's still failure. So my fear of failure caused me to fail.
Interesting. There is something with that. I really love this. So Joe is telling us he agrees with you. We keep moving even when it seems like we may fail. We fail, we get back up, and we dust our... Thank you, Joe. That's exactly right. Right? We have to get up and we have to continue going. You lose your job. You don't finish the race. You don't get the promotion. You don't get hired. You don't get the speaking engagement. But look, the thing is, those make you stronger, and it actually changes the structure of your brain. I'm a learning scientist, so I'm kind of nerdy about it, but like, it makes you have a greater willpower to do good things. So I love that. I love that, Nick. What do you think?
If I become immune to failure, then failure just becomes another word for practice. And I've got another one too. We have to look at the difference between failure and quitting. Failure is you ran out of time. Quitting is said, oh, I'm not going to make it. One is a result. But quitting is a conscious decision. It's a choice that we make to not go on. For whatever excuse we want to tell ourselves, no matter how justified we may think, it doesn't matter. It's still a decision. I would rather run out of time. I would rather fail than quit. I like to tell the story of when I was doing the Killington Ultra, the Spartan race, 31 miles, 18,000 feet of climbing for the whole thing. The first time I ever did it, right before the sandbag carry that was straight up the mountain, straight back down, we realized it was 2:00. The cutoff was right then and there. We were going to miss cutoff by about 6 minutes. So as we approached the sandbag, which looked like the worst thing ever, we thought about it like, we don't even need to do this. We're going to fail in about 6 minutes. Nothing would change our result at that point. I thought about it for a second. I'm like, well, I'd rather fail than quit.
Yes.
So we took the sandbag and just went right up the damn hill with it. And I'll tell you what, it took a minute. It was miserable. It was hard, but I ran out of time. I didn't give up.
I like that. That's such a powerful message that everyone needs to hear. And Nick, I want you to share this. I started this podcast because I was hearing that people were depressed, drivers, in fact. If somebody's listening today, no matter what role they play at their organization, if they're feeling down, they've lost their passion, maybe they're struggling with an addiction like you experienced, what advice would you give to them to help move them forward till tomorrow?
Start dreaming again. And I mean that. start dreaming like a little kid again. A lot of times we feel stuck, not because we're uncertain, it's because we accomplished something. And then what? Or maybe we went through a transition. I mean, the thing is, we start thinking about who we want to be, what we want to be when we're kids. Well, I'm 46. I'm about ready to finally accept that I will not be the starting second baseman for the Boston Red Sox. So when maybe one more season, I'll wait. Our purpose evolves. The things that we care about evolve. So maybe it's not that I've lost my passion. It's that maybe I just don't care about that thing as much anymore. The things I wanted for my life and that I was excited about when I was 25 are not the same thing I'm excited about when I'm 45. And I can't possibly imagine it's going to be the same things that I'm excited about when I'm 65. The problem is we stop dreaming. So start dreaming again. I would have never cared to get sober. I'll tell you what, the thing that helped me get sober the most was two things. Number one, I did not like who I was. Number two, my dad's been sober for 42 years.
Wow.
He's the happiest guy I know. I want what he has. So even though I was way down here at that moment and I saw this, I said, you know what? If he can, I can. I just want to dream that there's a better way to live, that I can feel better about life again. So
I love
start
that.
dreaming.
Thank you so much for not quitting, for living what you believe to be your best life, and you continue to strive to be there. And, I really believe that, like you said, I mean, it's inside of all of us. That's why I wrote my book. We have it. You have it inside of you. You have to unleash it and believe that you have it. And so I thank you for doing that. So next week, Nick, I have Kara Hinsey, who works in operations at CRST. She's going to join me. She has 20 years of leadership experience, and she's a wellness coach. What question should we ask her?
This might not be fair if she hasn't read your book, but some of the mindfulness practices in the book and some of the practical applications, I'm curious what other, say, practices and practical applications she would recommend for people.
All right. We'll see. We'll see what she says next week. What can people do to move their minds forward? Nick, leave us with some lasting words today and let us know. Joe says you're so profound and precise. He thanks you. Thanks, leave some lasting words. And where can people find you?
I am everywhere on the internet at Stride Motivation. You can email me, nick@stridemotivation.com. And the lasting words are what I say at the end of everything, which is live inspired. Life mindset is a choice, and inspiration is everywhere. Get into the racing community. You can always see that person overcoming a personal goal, a personal obstacle. Inspiration can be everywhere if you look for it. Live inspired.
Oh, live inspired. I love it. Oh my gosh, Nick. Thank you for coming on my podcast, and better yet, thank you for being here and inspiring people. And I recommend people hire you to come speak. You're very passionate, and continue to live your dream. And thank you for being on my show today.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad I could be here.
Awesome. Well, everyone, until next week, I hope you live inspired, be kind, be well, and keep on learning, because learning is the seed of life. And with that, have a good rest of the week.